Good day, learners. Welcome back to your EMS lesson. Today, we will be looking at lesson 2, and our topic for today is cash journals. We will be looking closely at how to record transactions in the cash receipt journal. Businesses record transactions in the cash journals on a daily basis. There are two types of cash journals, the cash receipt journal and the cash payment journal. The cash receipt journal records money received by the business. The source documents used to record transactions in the cash receipt journals are the duplicate receipts, the cash register roll, and the bank statement. Our second cash journal is the cash payment journal, which records money paid out by the business. The source document used to record transactions in the cash payment journal is the bank statements. Then let us take a close look at our cash receipt journal for a service business. Learners, I have some pictures here to show you some of the service businesses that we have. What is a service business? A service business is a business that receives income for providing a service. Example of a service business are salons, gardening services, plumbers, doctors, and etc. Cash receipt journal records all monies received by the business. Examples of cash receipt entries are current income, capital, rent income, commission income, and interest on current accounts. Then let us look at each of these entries in detail. Our current income. When a business performs a service, the money received from the client is referred as current income. So for all the services that we provide to our customers or clients, we then receive money, and this is referred as current income. Capital is our second entry. This is an important transaction as it is the first transaction that a business will need to record. Capital is the money that the owner invests in the business. This money can then be used to buy items needed by the business. Our next entry is rent income. If the business owns a property and rents this property to a tenant, the money received is referred as rent income. Then we have commission income, which refers to an amount earned for selling a product or service on behalf of another business. Our last entry is interest on current account, which is interest earned on a positive balance. So we do receive this money from the bank, which is paid to our bank account. And let us look closely at our cash receipt journal format. On this format, we have a document column, a day column, details column, analysis of receipts column, bank column, current income column, sundry amount, and sundry details column. Our name of the business is AB Salon, and we got 2 transactions for October 2020. The first transaction is when the owner, A. Becky, invested capital of 100,000 Rand and issued a receipt of 01 to him. Our second transaction, received 500 Rand for performing a service for LJET CRR1. Then let us record the first transaction. Then as we can see here, our document number is receipt number 1. So on our document column, we will write 01. Then the day of the transaction is the 3rd. Then we write 3 on our day column. Then the details of this transaction is A, Becky, the owner paid us, paid 100,000 rand into the business. Then our analysis of receipt column, it would be the 100,000 rand. And the question that we must ask ourselves in this column, are we receiving more monies for the day? If we are not receiving any other monies for the day, we will close the shop and we'll take the money to the bank. So the 100,000 will be taken to the bank. Then the next question, why are we receiving this money? Because the owner invested capital. So we are not receiving money for services. So we are not going to fold this amount into our current income, but it will go straight to our sundry accounts column. Then we'll put 100,000, then the reason will be capital. Our next transaction, receive 500 Rand for performing a service for LJT CRR1. Learners, we know that our source document for services or for service fees is CRR, which is our cash register roll. So our document number will be CRR1, and the day of this transaction is the 5th, and details will be LJT. And this amount, learners, which is 500 Rand, will go to our analysis column. And the question will be, are we receiving more monies on this day? We only have one transaction, so we are not receiving any other amount on this day. So we will close the shop and take the money to the bank. So why are we receiving this money? We are receiving this money because we have provided service, and our column for services is our current income column. So the 500 Rand will go to our current income column, and then we are not going to fill in the sundry account column. So if the question asks you to cast the journal, which means adding up the journals, then we will just add up the bank column. Then we add the 100,000 plus the 500. Then we got 100,500. Then we'll also add in our current income column and also our sundry amount column. Then as I have notes for you at the bottom. So the details column, that's where you write the name of the party that the money was received from. If the name is not known, write service fees. In our analysis column, the column is used to record all monies received by the business for each day before it is banked. If more than one amount is received on a particular day, the amount in the analysis column are added and the total goes to the bank. That's your analysis column. Let us go down, going to our bank column. This is the amount that is deposited at the bank. Every transaction will affect the bank column. This is a debit entry in the double entry principle. Then we got our current income column. These are contra accounts, which refers to the other accounts involved in the transaction. This is a credit entry in the double entry principle. Monies received for services rendered will be recorded in the column. Then, as I hope you are following on page 5 of your resource pack. Lastly is our sundry account column. Because we cannot have a column for every account, we use the sundry column for other receipts. Any account can be recorded in the sundry column. Then let us look at the format of the cash receipt journal in more details. So here you have a bit of more information as what goes to each column of the cash receipts journal. Okay, let me try and go up a bit. Okay, basic format of a cash receipt journal for a service business. Learners will have your heading, and on your heading, you have the name of the journal. So you must specify whether it's a cash receipt journal or it's a cash payment journal. Then the name of the business as well must be on your heading, and also the month and the year in which the transaction took place. You'll also have the abbreviation of the subsidiary book as well as the number of the subsidiary book. So in this case, it's GR8. The first column of your cash receipt journal will be the document number column. In this column, it will be the number of source document. For example, the cash register roll. So the cash register roll will be written as CRR. So you'll have CRR1, CRR2, CRR3, and so forth. We use this source document for all services, for all service fees received by the business. We use the cash register roll. Our second source document will be the bank statement, which will be written as BS. This source document will be all the monies that are deposited directly to the bank. Our third source document will be the duplicate receipts, where we write only the receipt number. And this source document can be used for monies received for rent income and commission income and any other income that we receive in the business besides for service fees. Our second column is the day of the month which the money was received. You only write the day because you have your month and the year in your heading. The details column is the name of the person who the business is receiving money from. The folio number column is not discussed in grade 8. We will leave it blank for now. And your analysis of receipts column, this column is not added up. The total received is taken to the bank at the end of each day. List of all the money received during the day. So the analysis of receipts column, it's where we record all the monies that we receive in the business for each day. Then the bank column records the total deposited into the bank account at the end of each day. Then your current income column, analysis column for services rendered. So our current income column is for all the service fees that we receive in the business. Our sundry accounts column, if money was not received for current account, it is entered in the sundry account. So if money is not received for services, if money is received for any other income beside for services, then it is recorded in the sundry accounts column. The amounts column records the amounts received that relate to sundry accounts and not current income. Then we do not fill in the folio column. Then our details column is the name of the relevant account to which posting is done. Learners, I hope you will understand as to how to allocate transaction. In the CRJ, as we move to our next page, that's where we'll get more transactions to record. This is our example for a cash receipt journal. We are told to use the transaction below to complete the cash receipt journal of Jack's cleaning services for the month of August 2019. So learners, very important to read the instruction or read the information before you proceed into recording the transactions. So firstly, we have to write our heading, which will be the name of the cash journal. In this case, it's the cash receipt journal. And we must mention the name of the business, which is Jack's Cleaning Services for August 2019. So we are doing a journal for August 2019. We have our subsidiary book number here, which is 8. Learners, we are going to base our book number on the month on which we are doing the journal for. So in this case, we're doing a journal for August 2019. So we are going to put GR8. So if it's for June 2019, or if the month of June, we are going to say GR6. So it will depend which month of the year, then we can base our book number on the month. If it was with February, we are going to put GR2. So let us start recording the transactions. The first transaction, the owner contributed 50,000 as capital by depositing a check directly to the bank. Learners, as I've mentioned earlier, if the money was deposited directly to the bank, then our source document is bank statement. So we have BS on our document number. The day in which the transaction occurred is the first of the month. So we write 1. Then details will be the name of the owner, which is Jack. And our folio column, we are not going to fill this column for now. Analysis of receipt, we are not also going to complete this column or fill this column because the money was paid directly to the bank. It was not paid in the business, but it was paid directly to the bank. So it will be reflecting on our bank column. Question to ask ourselves, why did we receive this money? We received the money because the owner contributed capital. So since it's not for services, since we are not receiving money for services, then it goes to our sundry accounts column where we put in our amount column of 50,000 Rand, and reason is capital. So our second transaction is on the 4th, which says received 3,000 from KZN Garden Services for rental. Receipt number 55 was issued. So you are going to write the receipt number that we are given on the transaction. So we write 55 on our document column. Then the day was the 4th of the month. Details will be KZN Garden Services. That's the details. And then we received this money in the business, hence we also completed a receipt. Then we are going to put the 3,000 under our analysis of receipts column. The question to ask learners is, are we receiving more monies on this day? Since you can see there's no other money that you are receiving on this day, then we are going to underline of which we are closing the shop and take the money to the bank. Then we ask ourselves again, why do we receive this money? It's because a tenant's paid us, as we said, received 3,000 from KZN Services for rental. So we're receiving money for rental. So since it's not for services, then we go straight to our sundry account column where we put the amount of 3,000 and the reason will be rent income. Next transaction on the 13th, service rendered according to cash register roll 5,500. So learners, as we discussed earlier, the source document for all the services is CRR, which is the cash register roll. So Our source document for all the services that we receive, the service fees that we receive, is the cash register raw, and we have to number our cash register. So our document column, we will have CRR1 as our document number, and the day in which the transaction occurred is the 13th, and details will be service fees. Then our folio column will be leave blank, and because we received this money in the business, it will be reflecting in our analysis of receipts column. And a question to ask ourselves, are we receiving more monies on this day? And the answer is no, we are not receiving any other monies on this day. And then we have to underline, we're closing the shop and we are going to deposit this money into the bank. So we deposit this money to the bank. Why did we receive this money? It's first for service fees that we receive. Since we have a column for service fees, which is our current income column, then the 5,500 will be allocated to our current income column. Learners, very important, if you fill in our current income column, there's no need to fill in the sundry accounts column. As the vice versa, as you can see, the first two transactions, if you fill in your sundry accounts column, there's no need to fill in your current income column. So learners, we are also casting the journals here where we are adding up our columns. Bear in mind, very important, we do not add our analysis of receipt column. So we are adding our sundry amount column, which is 50,000 plus 3,000, which amount to 53,000. Then our current income column is 5,500. Then our bank column is 58,500. So learners, these two columns, which is your sundry amount column and your current income column, if you add together, it should give you your bank column. So if these two are added together, these figures must equal the bank total. Learners, I will be giving you activity on page 8, 9, and 10. Please complete these activities and we will do corrections thereafter. This is our end of our lesson today. Let us meet again on our next lesson. Thank you.